Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're hitting the brakes and really slowing down to explore a profoundly shared human journey. We're talking about the life cycle. We'll be looking at source material that breaks down the entire story of our existence. It's a journey completely packed with growth, massive achievements, and hard-learned lessons. But as you'll see, it also loops back on itself in this incredibly beautiful, humbling way.
So let's kick things off with a pretty wild question, one that actually shapes our entire existence. If you compare a tiny newborn baby with someone in the very most advanced stages of old age, what's the single thread connecting them? Seriously, what do the very first days and the very last days of our lives actually have in common?
The answer? It's simple, but man, it is deep. Life begins and ends in exactly the same way. Dependence. As our source material reveals, we are quite literally bookended by vulnerability. We start and finish our stories needing the exact same things from the people around us.
Let's look at Section 1, the bookends of life, nature's profound reminder.
Think about it physically for a second. The similarities are literally striking. In infancy, you enter the world completely dependent, right? A baby can't walk, can't speak, definitely can't feed itself. It relies on milk and soft food because, well, the teeth haven't developed yet. Fast forward to advanced old age, and we see this perfect mirror image. Physical strength naturally declines, mobility gets pretty limited, and folks often require softer foods again as teeth are lost. A baby cries when it's uncomfortable, and similarly, those in their twilight years are primarily seeking physical relief from basic discomfort.
But it's not just physical. The psychological shift is absolutely huge. A newborn doesn't care about status or what they're wearing or how much money is in the bank. At both ends of life, the ego totally fades away. Our needs become beautifully, wonderfully simple. Advanced old age strips away all the noise of the world, returning us to those core human comforts: simple physical comfort, a hot meal on time, basic companionship, and dignified care.
Okay, so that raises the obvious question. What exactly happens in that chaotic, super energetic middle part of our lives? What lies between these two totally dependent bookends?
That brings us to Section 2, the illusion of permanence, the hustle of adulthood.
You blink, and suddenly that totally dependent child is an independent adult, and life gets dense. Suddenly, education, climbing the career ladder, marriage, family, massive financial responsibilities, and endless social obligations, they literally become the absolute center of our universe. We work relentlessly to build security. We're so busy trying to build this perfect future that we rarely, if ever, pause to even think about old age.
We are constantly rushing through our days, totally convinced that the future is a million miles away. As the source material points out, youth creates this incredibly powerful illusion of permanence. Our physical strength feels completely endless. Health is just taken for granted. We literally feel invincible during this middle chapter.
But time is relentless. You barely notice it day to day, but it just keeps quietly ticking, pushing us forward. Look at this progression. We go from dependent children in our first decade to ambitious, hustling adults in our 30s to parents carrying the weight of others in our 50s, all the way to dependent grandparents by our 70s and beyond. It sneaks up on us.
Which leads into Section 3, the return to dependence, learning humility.
Let's get one thing straight right off the bat. Aging is not a failure. It's absolutely not. It's just a natural process that every single living being on Earth experiences. Just like childhood has its innocence and youth has its fiery energy, aging is this highly precious stage equipped with its own distinct beauty. It brings unique lessons, deep wisdom, and this profound perspective that life is temporary.
And as we gain that perspective, just look at how our priorities totally flip. The things we chased relentlessly when we were young, they're replaced by far deeper, quieter values. The whole pursuit of status transforms into just wanting to be with family. That desperate hunger for wealth turns into valuing a true, loyal friend. The drive for achievement is replaced by wanting inner peace. And the ambition for success, it simply becomes a desire for kindness.
Section 4. The challenge of loneliness, when circles shrink.
Now we have to talk about a really tough reality here. After decades of being the one taking care of everyone else, raising the kids, supporting colleagues, building up communities, many elderly individuals suddenly find themselves living alone. It's just a fact that social circles inevitably shrink. Kids move away to start their own lives, and sadly, friends pass on. On top of that, physical limitations start popping up that make leaving the house and maintaining a social life incredibly difficult.
Because of that growing isolation, what we need from others really shifts. Emotional support becomes absolutely just as important as physical care. During those quiet, sometimes lonely days, having a deep conversation or just someone being emotionally present becomes vital to survival. It's no longer just about getting help making a meal. It's about having someone sitting across the table to share it with.
And finally, Section 5, the universal constant of care, the closed loop of life. When you step back, this entire journey forms a perfect closed loop. It's basically 3 distinct steps. Step 1, we begin life completely receiving care, right? Step 2, we spend the vast majority of our active adult years giving care to our kids, our partners, our jobs. And step 3, we end life needing care once again. When you truly understand this remarkably simple truth, it just makes us kinder, a lot humbler, and far more appreciative of everyone currently walking beside us.
This whole cycle is a massive wake-up call that the years pass way faster than we ever imagined. Life is temporary, and it's incredibly precious. But here's the beautiful part. Even as our bodies change and we go from dependent infant to independent adult and back to dependent senior, our most fundamental human needs, they remain wonderfully, stubbornly constant. From day one to day last, we all just need love, dignity, companionship, and care.
There's a quote from our source material that beautifully ties a bow on all of this. It says, "A meaningful life is not measured merely by what we achieve, but by how we care for one another as we travel together through the different stages of life." Honestly, that totally strips away the ego, doesn't it? It leaves us only with what truly matters when that illusion of youth finally fades.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with this thought. Knowing all of this, knowing we all share this exact same destination of dependence, knowing this closed loop is waiting for every single one of us, how are you going to treat the people around you today? The next time you see an elderly person, realize you are quite literally looking at a mirror of your own future. So how will you choose to care for those walking beside you right now?